fractured dream. But the lords of the valley came, claiming their prize, to bind his kin to a throne of lies. They took the princess to a sightless hall, while the traps were set for a kingdom's fall. An iron pact and a sister's veil, the first few notes of a funeral wail. Oh, master of ruin, the architect of the fall, the whisper of poison in the great ivory hall. With the bones of his father held tight in his grip, he let the foundations of an empire slip. Click, clack, go the markers, the game has begun, to settle a debt when the daylight is done. Watch the dynasty run. They cast them in darkness, 100 and more, to wither away on a stone cold floor. One handful of grain for a century of breath, a feast for the living in the house of death. Eat, said the father as his light grew thin. Be the one who survives to avenge our skin. Learn from the needle, the ant and the thread, and carry the hunger of the brothers who bled. He watched them go quiet one by one in the deep, with a vow in his heart that he promised to keep. With a limp in his walk and a ghost in his eye, he went to the valley to watch the world die. Oh, master of ruin, the architect of the fall, the whisper of poison in the great ivory hall. With the bones of his father held tight in his grip, he let the foundations of an empire slip. Click, clack, go the markers, the game has begun, to settle a debt when the daylight is done. Watch the dynasty run. He didn't use arrows, he didn't use steel. He broke the young heirs on a gambling wheel. He fed their ambition and he nurtured their hate, until every cousin was sealed in his fate. Bet the crown, bet your brothers, put your soul on the line. He laughed as the stars and the numbers aligned, for the dice weren't hollow and the dice weren't fair. They were carved from the grief and the weight of despair. The trumpets of battle, the iron and mud, the fields of the valley were heavy with blood. The strategist watched as the elders all fell, the architect leading the way into hell. But the youngest avenger came hunting the ghost, to take back the honor that was traded and lost. As the master of shadows was brought to his knee, the debt was erased and the spirit was free. Now the toddy is poured in the southernmost land, for the tragic old uncle with the bone in his hand. A hero to some, a demon to most, a king of the shadows, a Gandhara ghost.